Starting out with my foregone conclusions. So these are the free agents that are free agents, technically, right? So they are free agents, but they're not interesting to talk about because we already know what's going to happen. Kyrie Irving is going to opt in to his player option for $43 million. How do I know? Because I heard him. I heard him talk about it. I think he was doing a live stream. Is Kyrie on Twitch? Am I right about that? I saw some YouTube video of a Twitch compilation he was on, and first of all, I saw him talking about, he was giving advice to young men about, he said, y'all think it's cool to lie with a bunch of shorties. I thought that was an interesting phraseology of have sex with lots of women. And he said, I forget what his point was after, or what he said. All I remember is you think it's cool to lie with a bunch of shorties. But he was saying you should be committed to one woman. So I don't know where these live streams of Kyrie are coming from. I'm assuming he's on Twitch. But one other thing he said was he's rehabbing with the Dallas Mavericks. And he's talked to the Dallas Mavericks, and they're talking about his future there. So this would lead me to believe Kyrie Irving is opting into his $43 million contract. He might even be dropping his player option and then re-signing a new contract with them, potentially. Because you wouldn't want to sign a new contract this offseason because you're hurt. People expect him to be back in 2026. So keep that in mind. You wouldn't say I'm going to opt out because right now you're not healthy. People don't know what the future is. So you can guarantee $43 million. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. And then LeBron is going to opt in. Here's what LeBron's going to do. He's going to do his classic LeBron move of the 1-and-1. The one guaranteed year and then one player option year because he can do whatever he wants. So what he's going to do next season is in this offseason, he's going to probably opt out of this, sign a new contract that is also a 1-and-1. This gives LeBron the ability to get paid as much as he wants, but also guarantees him an extra year of payment if he wants it, and also gives him a way out. It's really smart. Well, it's not even like it's really smart, because LeBron can do whatever he wants. Even if he didn't do 1-and-1s, even if he didn't get that last year option every year, someone would sign him for a giant contract anyway. So that's what LeBron's going to do. He's still going to be a Laker. Cam Thomas is going to re-sign with the Brooklyn Nets just because the Brooklyn Nets do have cap space, and he's an easy re-sign. And no other team is going to he's a restricted free agent. So another team might put an offer out there for him, but I don't think any team is going to just because they don't have cap space to sign a guy with. So from what I hear, he's probably going to get $20 million a year. Probably 3 years. But I've heard a lot of different things. I saw 3 years for $70 million. That was something I saw. He scored a lot of points this year. Granted, the Nets weren't good. There were a lot of points to go around. So I think they're just going to re-sign him and rock with. I don't know what the Brooklyn Nets plan is. I have no idea. But they're basically the only team that actually has a lot of cap space this year. So we're going to talk about them a lot. They're going to come up in conversation quite a bit. Now, Josh Giddey, also in the same draft class as Cam Thomas. So Josh Giddey is in that 2021 draft class with Mobley, with Cade Cunningham. So those guys are in their restricted free agency year, the ones that aren't extended already. Josh Giddey getting moved from Oklahoma City is the best thing that's ever happened to him. He might have been kind of butthurt about that he got rejected, but now he might get $224 million. He might get that Evan Mobley deal. He might get that Cade Cunningham deal. He might get that type of money. He might get maxed out. I think he qualifies for it too. He was the 6th pick in the 2021 draft. If he's not eligible for that amount of money because it's not an extension, which might be the case, I don't know. I think he is though. Tell me. Scotty Barnes, another guy that got that giant ass contract. So we're going to talk about more of guys from the 2021 draft. Coming up now, Jonathan Kaminga, who's such an interesting case to me because we're going to talk about a couple guys like this, but they're great basketball players, but they're not great they're not good on basketball teams. And the Golden State Warriors are the ultimate basketball team. A little less so now. What I'm talking about is passing the ball around. And Kaminga has a hard time being involved in an ensemble cast. So that's sort of been the problem with him. I feel bad for him a bit. I wouldn't want to be in this state. I think they should have traded him a long time ago. I think he had trade value, but they wanted to keep him. And now he's hitting restricted free agency. And I think someone's going to make an offer. I think the Nets might make an offer. I've read that they're interested. So they'll make the offer. It'll come back to Golden State. And they might match it. I'd be very disappointed in Golden State if they did match it, but it's just because they've been so indecisive about him. If they matched it and kept him, if I'm Jonathan Kaminga, I'm like, don't match it. I know this team is good. I know it's great to be on a great winning team, but I'm not playing. I'm not meeting my potential. I just want to go somewhere, even if the team sucks, and I want to be important on that team, and I don't want to be stowing away for a future big trade package. It would be annoying. So if I'm Jonathan Kaminga, I'm pretty upset about it. So last year, he turned down a 5-year, $30 million contract. I might have that wrong, actually. So the prediction, 5-year. So he wanted, did he want more than that? I'm not sure. So a restricted free agent. So his qualifying offer this year is $10 million. Obviously, they'll make the qualifying offer, but he was $150 million. I think he wanted $150 million. That's what he wanted. He wanted $150 million last year for a 5-year deal because he wanted what Jalen Suggs got and what Jalen Johnson got, which were $150 million for 5 years. So is he that good? Is he as good as Jalen Johnson? Is he as good as Jalen Suggs? And, you know, you have your opinion. You're saying what your opinion is right now. But he does not have the resume those guys does. I know he's a champion, but I predict he's going to get an offer for 4 years, $130 million. I could see that from Brooklyn, which would actually be more money than those guys, but Brooklyn has money to spend. So that's what I wrote down as my prediction. Could I be wrong? I don't know. I don't know if I can be wrong. I mean, I've never been wrong. So this playoffs is make or break for him, I think. So, or is it? I'm moving on. I didn't watch Saturday night's game, close enough to really go on about Jonathan Kaminga at this point. So, Miles Turner, always, since I've been an NBA fan, Miles Turner has always been on the trade market. Everyone's always wanted him. Everyone's always wanted Miles Turner. He is a middle-of-the-road center. He's a good defender, not super tall. He can shoot threes. What's his three-point percentage? 40% from three this year. But he's just not he's a good rebounder. I believe he's led the league in blocks a few years. I'm not sure exactly what people's problem with him is, other than his size. And I've noticed maybe the Lakers might be interested in him. They would have to do a sign and trade. Granted, this offseason is going to be incredibly boring. I'm talking about free agents, but nobody has cap space. So any deal that needs to be done is going to have to be in some sort of sign and trade package for Miles Turner, unless he goes to Utah or something, who might not even have cap space, potentially, depending on what they do. So I'm not exactly sure. My prediction, though, for Miles Turner is he's going to get $25 million a year for 3 years with a player option, because I think he's 31 years old. I think the Pacers are just going to say, you've been good for us for so long. You're a Pacer. We're not getting any free agents. First of all, we're over the salary cap, so we can't sign any free agents other than someone for like a mid-level exception. So just sign here, dude. It just works for everyone. So I think he's going to get 3 years, player option, $25 million. All he's really asking for is a cost of living increase. So when he signed the contract it was $19 million a year. And then based on how much the salary cap has gone up, if he were to get 25 to 30 million a year, is just sort of a cost of living increase. So I'm sorry, nothing crazy is happening with Miles Turner. I would like to see the Lakers make a move for him. Lakers just lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves today. They're down 3-1. A lot of it has to do with the fact that they don't have a rim protector. Is Miles Turner a good rim protector? Yeah, he's pretty good. I think he led the league in blocks twice. He led the league in something twice. It was blocks. I know it was blocks. Can we move on from him? Is that all my notes? Yeah, I think I guess the Pacers have their eye on somebody. Pacers Reddit is down on his defense. They say he's sort of resting on his laurels. Like he ain't got the juice anymore, but people sort of know Miles Turner is a really good rim protector, so they assume he's still good, which happens a lot in the NBA. Also, I don't know what's going to happen tonight. Right now, I'm watching the game just started. The Boston-Orlando game just started. It's 2-2 right now. So that's, now you know what time it is. But Miles Turner isn't really guarding Giannis. I feel like Pascal Siakam ends up on him. Pacers are doing a zone. Miles Turner's small. He's small for a center. So we can move on from him. Malik Beasley had a great season. Here's something interesting about him. So he shot 41% from three, shooting 9 threes a game. Okay. He actually had a good season with the Bucks last year, but the Bucks kicked him to the curb. I thought that was strange. He was on a league minimum with the Bucks, and then he signed for more money with the Pistons. So if he'd been 42% from three, he would have been the second player to be 42% from three, shooting 9 threes a game. I'm assuming the only player that's done that is Steph Curry. I think he's going to make a lot of money. He's going to want to stay in Detroit. I think those Detroit guys love Detroit and they want to be there. I think they have something special because they are the island of misfit toys, aren't they? You got Tobias Harris, you got Malik Beasley, you got Tim Hardaway, and then you've got the young guys. Those were the guys people would make fun of. They say, "Oh yeah, that guy, he's trash." And now they're playing a competitive series against the Knicks. I really hope they beat the Knicks. I like the Knicks guys on paper, but I want to see them lose. So I heard I think he wants $20 million. He wants to go from $6 million a year to $20 million, and he probably wants a longer deal. So I guess what I'm really predicting is he's going to get $20 million a year, 2 years, team option. I think he's going to get the Bruce Brown deal. So what I think they're going to do, $20 million's a lot, but let's say they do $20 million a year and then a team option. This happens a lot where you say, okay, we'll sign you to a big contract, but for a short time. So Malik will probably do it because he'll say $20 million's a lot. It's basically 3 times the amount I've been getting paid. And if I'm good, they'll keep me around and I'll get another $20 million. And then if you're Detroit, you can say, hey, there's really no one on the open market that we want, so we might as well just keep Malik. He's been really good for us, and we'll overpay him a little bit. And if he's absolutely trash, it's a team option. Next season, we can cut him loose. I think that's a good idea. He made 1 less three than Anthony Edwards for the most amount of threes made this year. He had a really awesome season, and I'm really happy for him. And I don't have any more notes for him. So, shot well when you're in league, in the book? Yep. We're good. I remembered all my notes. I don't even have to write this shit down. Bobby Portis. So I was just recently at a Bucks game. I saw the Bucks come back against the Minnesota Timberwolves back in March. Nope. It was early April. It was this month. And Bucks fans, let me tell you, they love Bobby Portis. They love Bobby Portis more than they love Giannis. You don't believe me. There's no way you believe me. There's no way that you believe that's true, but it is. They loved Bobby Portis. It was his first game back from his suspension when he took the wrong tadalafil, when he meant to take the other boner pill. I forget. I can't remember. Tadalafil and what do they call it? They always talk about him when you hear the Blue Chew ads. He wasn't taking a boner pill, but he took the wrong pain meds. And it was his first game back, and people lost their mind for Bobby Portis. And from what I gather, Bucks fans are kind of over Brook Lopez. I think they want to move on from him. Does Bobby Portis want to not be the sixth man anymore? A lot of times these six men like this role. I assume he wants to be the center. He's a good rebounder. Of course, Brook Lopez is a good center, and I think what if they move on from Brook? Lakers pick up Brook Lopez for the second time. He's played there before. What about this? Because it seems like the fans, at least, I don't know about management, are over Brook Lopez, who's a guy I like and I still think has some juice, but would Bobby want to move into the starting lineup? What's he looking for? Probably he is a player option for $13 million, which the plan is, from what I understand, is he's going to decline that player option, meaning he thinks he can get more than $13 million. And he's probably looking for $15 million over 3 years, something like that. I'm just throwing something out there. No one's got cap space, but I think the Bucks want to keep him. He's a fan favorite, so I think he'll probably sign a big contract and start for the Bucks next year as center. And I don't know if it's going to work for them, but I think that's what's going to happen. I could see him signing for 3 years, $20 million. Bucks are way over the cap, though, aren't they? I think some people are coming off. I mean, Brook Lopez is also a free agent, so I think they're coming off some money this year. $15 million? I think he's going to get $20 million for 3 years. I think he deserves it. If he can stop taking his tadalafil. Schroeder, one of my favorite players in the league. And he's sort of developed people always talk about him fumbling the bag. He cannot live down when the Lakers offered him that extension. How much was it for? Do I have it on here? It was I think it was $80 million. $1 million extension with the Lakers when he was offered that. And he wanted to bet on himself because he thought he could make more money. He turned down the extension, and then he had a kind of bad postseason and ended up going to the Boston Celtics for the mid-level exception. It was like $6 million, and everyone clowned him for it. Granted, Schroeder is a little bit of a dick, which I'm glad, because you don't have to have sympathy for the guy. That's what I like about dicks. They can just be dicks, and then they can kind of find themselves in a bad situation, and you don't have to empathize and feel bad for them, because you're like, hey, he's kind of a dick anyway. And I like Schroeder. He's a dick in the best possible way, is my point. You remember when Maxi Kleber wanted to be on the Olympic team for Germany, and Schroeder said, you weren't on the FIBA team. You decided to sit out and rest and get surgery or work on something related to the NBA, and you didn't support your countrymen, so you can't be on the team, which wasn't even the call he could make. But Kleber was like, all right, well, if that guy doesn't want me on the team, he's like the captain of the team, so I guess I'm not on the team. He was the FIBA MVP. He has a lot of sway, which I like. Schroeder's all business, and I like him. He takes it seriously. So what do I think is going to happen? Part of me thinks he should. So the Pistons lost today. I think they lost by 1. Cade Cunningham missed the last shot. Part of me thinks that maybe he should have gone to Schroeder. That's a spicy take, but I don't know. That's how I feel. Can I justify it emotionally? No. Can I logically explain why I feel that way? No. But the nice thing about life is you don't have to. You don't have to have a logical explanation. You can just feel. I can be wrong, but that's how I feel. So I think he signs with the Pistons, granted, because the Pistons do have cap space. I have an idea coming up. So they have these guys on their team, and they could sign Schroeder for I think $20 million, because he's currently making $13 million. I don't know what his bird rights are, but they can pay him probably what he wants to get paid. So I think he stays a Piston. And I have stay tuned. I have another idea coming up. I think it's a good idea. I think you're going to like it. So Naz Reid. Okay. Naz Reid is the Bobby Portis to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Have you noticed this? People love this guy. I'm going to do a video on the fetishization of the sixth man. People are horny for six men. Have you noticed this? Nas Reed. Evidently people greet each other saying Nas. Did you hear that on the broadcast? It's wild. Udonis Haslam. People love 6 men. They're glazing. They're doing tricks. They're riding. So, that being said, I think he stays as a Timberwolf. I don't think Rudy Gobert should be playing. I gotta say it. I know a lot of people rock with Rudy, but he's very tall and he gets a lot of rebounds. But is he that much better than Zach Edey at the price tag he's at? I gotta say, as a basketball fan, when I watch him get cooked at the perimeter. He looks a little bit lost on offense, and to be honest, looks a little bit lost on defense, a lot. And when I watch Nas Reed, I say, this guy is a basketball player. If you can play Julius Randle and Nas Reed at the same time and get your rebounds, I think you should do it. I don't know if Rudy Gobert is with the program. And he's nasty. Got a flagrant today. He's nasty. He's got a short fuse. That's my thought. So, I don't think you can move on from Rudy Gobert, but there's another Timberwolf coming up. But you got to keep Nas Reed. I think he's an excellent player. And he's got smarts. He knows the game. He can shoot. He knows where to be. I also think he's an aggressive defender. I like the way he's moving out there. I think he's getting good at defense. Because there was a time when you had Jokic, you had to play defense on Jokic, and you really needed Rudy out there. Or it was Embiid. That's who I was thinking of. I remember a game where I just thought, man, Nas cannot. This was last year. Thinking, man, Nas just doesn't stand a chance on Embiid, but Rudy can't handle him. But I think Nas at this point has figured it out enough where you can start him. And he should be a starter. That's my thought. He's got size. But people are talking about the Nets wanting him. He's from Jersey. And the Nets have more cap space than the Pistons. So they might make him an offer they can't refuse. He can't refuse, rather. So, but I don't know actually what's going to happen. What do the Nets plan on doing? See, we're back at the Nets. What is their goal? Are they just going to sign a bunch of guys with all this cap space and then try to trade them at the deadline? I feel like that never works. I feel like it's a strategy everyone talks about. Like, ooh, they'll sign Nas Reed, and then they'll trade him for a bunch of draft picks at the deadline. And then Nas just might rot away in Brooklyn for a couple of years. I hope it doesn't happen. So, I hope he just stays in Minnesota. Granted, I'd like to see him in a different jersey. I'd like to see the Nets try to be good. They have so much cap space and they have a couple good players on their team right now. I think they should try to be good. So, do I have any more notes on Nas? I feel like I had so much to say about him. John Collins. Okay, so John Collins is good. I know it seems weird having him at 4. Like, I haven't even heard people talk about this guy in ages. I forgot John Collins was in the league. I know. And I'm concerned because part of me thinks John Collins is okay not being relevant. That's a little bit concerning to me. I think he's okay being forgotten about to a degree. That's what I'm a little bit concerned about. Because I read an interview about him on Sports Illustrated or something, and he said, yeah, basically, it's whatever. Yeah, maybe I pick up my player option. If it's in Utah, cool. If it's not in Utah. Basically, what he's saying is, I'm getting paid next year. I have my player option. He's not going to sign for any more than $26 million. So he's probably going to opt in to whatever it is. He is a scorer, though. He's still, don't get it twisted. I'm not watching Utah Jazz games, but this guy can provide value to a team. And I know you've forgotten about him. So I'm just concerned he's sort of checked out because he's making his money and he's not having to work very hard. He's a good diet center. He's sort of, you got the diet center being, Rudy Gobert is a unleaded, full calorie, Four Loko style center. You know what I'm saying? Edey, same way. The diet center, the low-calorie center is like Sabonis, Jokic, and Sengun. The guy that's tall, but he has a lot of basketball skills, but he's just not blocking shots, and he's just not blocking shots. He's not a giant that blocks shots. or gets loads of rebounds, except for Jokic. Of course, Sabonis does too. He's just not big. He's not huge, but he can score. So I don't know what's going to happen. I imagine he picks up his player option in Utah, and he just hangs out for another year and enjoys getting paid and not being on a good basketball team. Because it's so easy. It's the golden handcuffs. You're not going to opt out. You're not going to be like, oh, I'll sign a $30 million 3-year deal with another team, or, whatever, $20 million a year with another team for 2 years when I could just make $26 million here and pick up my player option. Golden handcuffs, man. He's just going to be like, no, I want to get paid. I have money here. Like, don't you want to play competitive basketball? I do, but secondarily to making a ton of money. Fred VanVleet makes $44 million. I forgot he was making that much money. Did you remember that? Okay, so it's a team option this summer. And the Rockets are not going to pay him $44 million if they don't have to. I like Fred VanVleet, but that's so much money. That's almost what Durant makes. It's too much. And what's really interesting is going back and looking at old Reddit posts. People were saying in the Reddit threads, well, I imagine we're going to pay him that $44 million because we don't know how Amin Thompson and Reed Shepherd are going to develop. So better safe than sorry. The team should pick up that option. Isn't that funny? That was only 6 months ago. And it seemed like, and everyone upvoted it, and everyone said, yeah, we better keep Fred. Which I like Fred. But all I'm saying is now things have changed. And you're saying, let's negotiate with Fred. So from what I've read, they really like him, and they like his leadership on the team. He's a feisty guy. And I think he's a great player. I think he's a really great point guard. So I think they renegotiate it. I think they bring him down. I think he stays in Houston and he shares minutes with Reed Shepherd, and they bring him down. They do 3 years, 25-30. He's not a huge scorer. He's not a huge assist guy. But he does provide value out there. I could see Fred sort of going into a Mike Conley-esque role, still starting, but also giving Reed some time because he's going to be the future. That's my thought. But also, they could pick up the team option. Listen to this. They pick up the team option because it's a giant salary. They use it to trade for Durant. I know Rockets fans don't want Kevin Durant. I know nobody wants Kevin Durant. I did that Kevin Durant trade video. Every comment was like, nope, no thanks, pass. Don't need Durant. Yeah, keep him. We're good. I was surprised. Nobody was interested in Kevin Durant. I thought, okay, all right. No, this is not 2019, is it? Wow, times have changed. No one's interested, but that is an option for them. So Fred won't get that much. I think he gets 97.2 3 years with a team option. I had to pull that from an article or something. That's such a specific number. I had to. I didn't predict that. Does that sound right? I think I pulled that from Sports Illustrated Houston Rockets. I think that's where I got that from, but it sounds good. I'm still in disbelief that he signed a contract for $44 million a year. That's the thing, is teams, when they have cap space, they need to use the cap space. And this is a bad year to be a free agent because no one has cap space. That's the problem. Julius Randle. Great game today. It was LeBron versus Randle today. And it sort of has been like that this whole entire series. They look similar. They're similar builds. And those guys are getting chippy. It is truly a battle. Did they play together at the Lakers? I wanted to say they did. Was Randle in the Anthony Davis trade? I don't think he was. Because Hart, Lonzo, and Ingram were in the Anthony Davis trade. I don't think Randle was. I think Randle was traded to the Pelicans in an earlier trade. I'm going to look that up later. I'm not sure. But Julius Randle has a $30 million player option this year. Do you think Randle can get more than $30 million? Do you think he can turn down his player option and then go out and get it with the Nets? or get it. Some other teams could. I don't know what team would want, like Spurs. I don't know. Spurs, I think, can make some moves to clear some space. Is there a team that wants him for more than $30 million? I don't know. I imagine what's going to happen is it seems like, regardless of play style, regardless if you like him on your team in Minnesota, it seems like the team really likes the guy. And it seems like he really likes being there. And actually, there's a quote from him saying he really likes Minnesota. I think him and his family are happy there. So all signs, for me, it feels like he's going to sign a 4-year extension. I know. He's going to be there for a long time. $120 million. So he's going to see it as him taking a pay cut. A lot of people are going to say it's too much money. That's always sort of how it goes, right? Every player sort of feels like they should get a little more. So I think he's going to get talked into a 4-year extension. They'll give him a player option so he feels like he's winning, and they'll extend him because I think they like him. They like his attitude. I think Anthony Edwards likes him as well. And he's going hard out there. He can look a little slow. He definitely seems like a player that if he's motivated, he's really good. But when he's not, if you get him a little mad, which can be good and can be bad, he can get a little worked up and he can maybe foul a little bit, but you need him to get worked up. Otherwise, he's a little bit lazy, in my opinion. And he is a ball stopper. Do the Bulls want a power forward who stops the ball? That was something I was thinking about because they have a little bit of space. I just think he ends up in Minnesota. Great game. I don't know what he got a lot of points today, and I thought he played LeBron pretty well. I mean, they won. I think that sort of dictates how you feel about someone's performance, as if they won or not. It just totally changes it. You don't even look at the stats if they won. You just say, wow, what a game from that guy. Like, how many points do you have? What was his plus minus? I don't know. They look good. They won. Shut up. So, all right, so here's the thing. James Harden has a $36 million player option this year. Okay. He's turning that down. Even if he just played so well, he'll probably be all NBA. People are saying that now. I had him on my snubs list, but it's looking like he might be all NBA. And he's doing pretty well in the playoffs. I got a feeling the Nuggets are not going to beat them, and the Clippers are going to move on to the second round. And Harden's going to want money. That's really what I'm getting at. And the Clippers can always pay because Ballmer is rich. More than likely, I think he signs a new contract for 2 years, $50 million a year. I think Harden he'll want as much as Kawhi, and I think that's fair. If you look at just compare your teammate to another teammate who's making that much money, I think it's okay to ask for as much as Kawhi. So I think he'll get a 2-year, $50 million deal. He might even get in a player option with it, because in his head, he's thinking, I want a player option because next year I could probably get a actual max I could get Jimmy Butler's deal. He might even want Jimmy Butler's deal. He might want $60 million for 2 years with a player option. He's going to want to get paid. And you can't say he doesn't deserve it. I don't have his... Oh, shoot. I cut off his stats. Hold on. We'll pull this up. 1 sec. I got you, baby. We'll do this. How's that? Now you can see him, I think. So, 79 games. Played 79 games this year. 35 minutes a game. 22 points. Yeah, you owe him money. You're going to pay Kawhi that much. So my other idea, I want to see him go to the Nuggets. I'm a big James Harden fan. I just want the Nuggets to have another good player. I love Aaron Gordon. I love Jokic, but we need someone else that can play basketball well. Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. in my theory is they're hurt. They're playing injured because they don't have the juice. They're not playing very aggressively. I don't know what's up, but they can't play. Michael Porter Jr. is just shooting threes, and he's making some, and I'm grateful for that. But that's what he's got to give. I want Harden to go there. I don't think it's going to happen. What could happen, though, and this is my last thing that I want to say. I don't need my notes anymore. I would like to see James Harden could go to the Detroit Pistons. I'd love it. Because they have so much cap space, they could say, hey, James Harden, we want to offer you $150 million for 3 years. We'll give you a player option at the end. James Harden would say, I'm listening. I'm down. That sounds good. Let's talk. Because money, right? But also the team is good. So what they could do is they could sign James Harden straight up as a free agent. Then they could re-sign all of those guys for as much money as they could. They could re-sign Malik Beasley. They can re-sign Dennis Schroeder. They can re-sign Isaiah Stewart. I believe he's a free agent as well. And then you've got James Harden, and you've got basically the same core you have now that's competing with the Knicks. It's not bad. I'd love it. You're adding James Harden to a team that's the 6th seed in the East and is competitive. That is a winner. James Harden is good. Get a deal on him. Some people are going to talk so much trash about him getting $150 million in the offseason at whatever, 34, 35. I think we're the same age. At 35 years old. You're going to be paying James Harden at 38, $50 million? I don't think it's a bad idea. Because one thing about James Harden is he figures out a way to be good. Even if he can't deliver it the same way, he'll figure it out and he will be good in some way. That's my thought. I think it could be. But more than likely he just ends up a Clipper again. Okay. Thank you for being... Oh, I didn't talk about the Patreon. I went this whole way without talking about the Patreon. Thank you for everyone who signed up for the Patreon. I'm very grateful. I'm going to put a pinned comment below and then leave a suggestion for the Patreon. I'll talk about that. This week we talked about bad stats. Man, I wish I would have said it earlier in the video. If you're still around, much love. Be good to your mammies. Eat a corn dog. It's $2 for the Patreon, by the way. I don't know if I said that.